hit the subscribe button. Currently only 1.7% of my viewers are subscribe. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll release an exclusive special video just for you. The exploration ship Endeavour hurtled through the alien sky, plummeting toward an unknown world. Inside, Captain Edward Eddie Hart clung to his seat, knuckles white against the armrests. The vessel groaned and shuddered as it descended, alarms blaring. Eddie's sharp eyes took in the chaos, assessing the damage. "Brace for impact," he yelled, his voice steady amidst the turmoil. The ship crashed violently, metal screeching and sparks flying. Eddie's head snapped forward, restrained by his harness. He unbuckled swiftly, pain searing through his side, but he pushed it aside, focusing on his crew. The interior of the ship was a wreck. Panels hung loosely, and equipment lay scattered. Dr. Nora Sinclair, the biologist, was pinned under a beam. Eddie rushed over, adrenaline giving him strength as he lifted it off her. "Can you move?" he asked, concern evident in his eyes. Nora nodded, wincing as she stood. "I'm fine, just a bit bruised." Sergeant Liam O'Connor, their engineer, was already assessing the damage. "We're in bad shape, Captain. Communications are down, and the hull's breached. We've got to secure this place." Sophia Reyes, the medic, checked on the others, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the dire situation. "We need to treat any injuries immediately and set up a perimeter," she said, already tending to a crew member's wound. Eddie took a deep breath, organizing his thoughts. "All right, we need to gather what we can from the wreckage and set up camp. Nora, see if you can find any safe food or water sources. Liam, start working on a way to get the comms back online. Sophia, take care of the injured." The team moved with purpose, salvaging supplies and setting up a temporary shelter. The alien landscape around them was both beautiful and menacing, with towering, unfamiliar vegetation and sounds that hinted at the dangers lurking nearby. Eddie and Nora scouted the area. They encountered their first challenge. A massive creature, its skin covered in thick, armored plates, blocking their path. It roared, revealing rows of sharp teeth. Eddie's heart raced, but his mind remained clear. He analyzed the creature's behavior, noticing it was more defensive than aggressive. "Back away slowly," he whispered to Nora. They retreated without provoking the beast further, returning to the camp with valuable information about their new environment. "We need to be cautious," Eddie explained to the group. "The wildlife here is unlike anything we've encountered. We can't afford to take unnecessary risks." Days turned into nights as the crew adjusted to their harsh new reality. Eddie's leadership and knowledge of animal behavior proved invaluable. He began to observe smaller, less threatening creatures, noting their patterns and habits. One day, he managed to capture a bird-like animal, its eyes bright with curiosity rather than fear. "This little guy might be useful," Eddie said, carefully studying the creature. He named it Scout and started the slow process of earning its trust with food and gentle handling. Scout's intelligence became apparent as it began to mimic Eddie's actions, providing a glimmer of hope. Their first major setback came when a larger predator attacked their camp, destroying vital supplies and injuring Liam. Eddie rallied the team, using their combined skills to fortify their defenses and create traps to ward off future attacks. The nights were fraught with tension, but their bond grew stronger with each challenge. During one of these tense nights, Eddie shared his past with the team. "I've faced dangerous animals before, but nothing like this. Still, we're resourceful. We can make it." Nora, patching up Liam's wounds, added, "We have to learn to coexist with these creatures, maybe even turn them into allies." Eddie nodded. "Exactly. We'll use our knowledge and adaptability to survive. We'll figure out how to communicate with the creatures, understand their needs and behaviors. It's our best shot." Days passed. Scout became an invaluable asset, scouting the area and warning of potential threats. The team's morale improved with each small victory, and they began to see a path forward. Eddie's leadership, combined with their collective expertise, gave them a fighting chance. One evening, as they gathered around a makeshift fire, Scout returned with something unusual in its beak, a piece of advanced alien technology. Eddie examined it, curiosity and caution warring within him. "This changes things," he said, showing the device to the team. "There's more to this planet than we thought. We need to stay sharp and be ready for anything." Eddie stood by the remains of their camp, his eyes scanning the surroundings with a mix of vigilance and curiosity. The alien planet presented both a mesmerizing beauty and a constant threat. The discovery of the alien device by Scout had added a new layer of complexity to their situation. Eddie held the small piece of technology, its surface smooth and unfamiliar. He knew this could be a key to understanding their new world, or a harbinger of greater danger. Dr. Nora Sinclair approached, her face reflecting a mix of excitement and concern. "What do you make of it, Eddie?" she asked, her voice low to avoid attracting unwanted attention. Eddie shook his head. "I'm not sure yet. We need to be cautious. This planet is full of surprises." They spoke. Sergeant Liam O'Connor was busy repairing the damaged equipment. His hands moved deftly, but his eyes occasionally darted around, keeping an eye out for any approaching creatures. "This place is a goldmine of unknown tech," Liam said, his voice tinged with awe. "But it's also a death trap. We need to stay on our toes." Sophia Reyes, tending to the injured, looked up and added, "Whatever that thing is, we need to figure it out quickly. Our supplies won't last forever, and we can't rely on luck to keep us safe." Eddie nodded. "Let's focus on survival first. Liam, keep working on the comms. Nora, continue cataloging the flora and fauna. We need to understand this ecosystem if we're going to make it." Days passed in a blur of activity and constant vigilance. Eddie's growing bond with Scout proved invaluable as the creature's keen senses and intelligence helped them navigate the dangerous terrain. Scout's behavior indicated the presence of other intelligent beings, and this suspicion was confirmed when they encountered the Zari, the native inhabitants of the planet. Kale, a Zari scout, appeared at the edge of their camp, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and curiosity. He was humanoid but had distinct features that marked him as alien. Translucent skin that hinted at a complex internal structure, and eyes that seemed to glow softly in the twilight. Eddie approached cautiously, hands raised in a gesture of peace. "We mean no harm," he said slowly, hoping his words would be understood. Kale watched them for a moment before speaking in a halting but understandable language. "You, strangers, dangerous land. How survive?" Eddie gestured to his team and the fortified camp. "We work together. Learn from each other. Maybe we can help you too." The initial interactions were tense but slowly grew more cooperative. The humans and the Zari shared knowledge, with Eddie teaching Kale how to tame some of the smaller creatures for help and companionship. In return, Kale showed them hidden sources of food and water, and places to avoid. The relationship between the humans and the Zari deepened as they faced common threats. One evening, a large predator attacked the camp, but thanks to Kale's warning and Eddie's strategic thinking, they managed to drive it away. This victory cemented their bond and opened the door for further cooperation. They sat around a fire. Kale shared tales of the Zari's struggles against the planet's relentless dangers. "Many Zari, lost to beasts, you, different, fight together, stronger." Eddie looked at his team, each member contributing to their survival in unique ways. "We are stronger together," he agreed, "but we still have much to learn from each other." The newfound alliance faced its first major test when an ancient, massive predator, long feared by the Zari, emerged from the forest. Its roar shook the ground, and the humans and Zari alike felt the weight of its presence. Eddie knew they had to act quickly to survive. He gathered his team and the Zari, forming a plan that combined their strengths. "We need to lure it into a trap," he explained. "We'll use our tamed creatures and the terrain to our advantage." The battle was intense, with both humans and Zari working in perfect harmony. Scout led the smaller creatures in harrying the predator, while Eddie and Kale coordinated the attack. Finally, they managed to trap the beast, securing their camp's safety. In the aftermath, as they tended to the wounded and reinforced their defenses, a sense of accomplishment and camaraderie filled the air. Eddie stood with Kale, looking out over their camp. "We've come a long way," he said. "But there's still much to do." Kale nodded. "Together we survive, learn, thrive." The stars began to emerge in the night sky. Eddie felt a sense of determination. They had forged an alliance, not just for survival, but for a better future on this wild and dangerous planet. And that future, though uncertain, held promise. Eddie's mind raced as he examined the alien device Scout had brought back. The intricate design suggested a level of technology they had yet to encounter. Dr. Nora Sinclair, standing beside him, peered at the device with a mix of fascination and concern. "This could be a game-changer, Eddie, but we need to understand it before we can use it." Sergeant Liam O'Connor joined them, wiping sweat from his brow after another long day of repairs. "I've seen some unusual tech in my time, but this is something else. It might be the key to our survival, or it could attract more trouble." Their newfound alliance with the Zari had given them hope, but it also brought new challenges. Kale, the Zari Scout, had become a bridge between the two species, helping to foster understanding and cooperation. However, the presence of the ancient predator, a colossal beast that had recently emerged, loomed over their every move. Eddie called a meeting with his team and Kale to discuss their next steps. "We need to be proactive," Eddie began. "This planet is still full of threats, and we can't wait for them to come to us. We need to find out more about this device and see if it can help us." Kale nodded, his translucent skin catching the light. Zari elders speak of ancient technologies buried deep within the forests. This device may be part of those legends, but reaching those places will be perilous. Determined to unlock the potential of the device, Eddie led an expedition deeper into the forest, accompanied by Nora, Liam, and Kale. Scout flitted above them, ever watchful. The dense foliage made progress slow, and the sounds of unseen creatures kept them on edge. They stumbled upon ancient ruins, overgrown but still majestic. Nora's eyes widened. "This is incredible. These structures must be thousands of years old. If the device is part of this civilization, it could be a treasure trove of knowledge." Liam inspected the ruins with his usual practicality. "If we can find a way inside, we might discover more devices or clues about how to use this one." Kale guided them to a hidden entrance, a doorway carved into the stone, covered by vines. "My people have long avoided these places, fearing the old gods. But now we have a chance to reclaim our past." Inside, the ruins were cool and dimly lit by phosphorescent moss. The air was thick with the scent of earth and age. They found themselves in a vast chamber, walls lined with intricate carvings and alien symbols. At the center of the room stood a pedestal, eerily similar to the design of the device they carried. Eddie placed the device on the pedestal, and it began to hum softly. Light emanated from the pedestal, illuminating the carvings on the walls. The symbols seemed to shift and move, forming patterns and sequences. Nora's excitement was palpable. "It's responding. This might be a data repository or a control center." Suddenly, the ground shook as a roar echoed through the chamber. The ancient predator had followed them. The team quickly realized they had been cornered. Eddie took command. "Nora, Liam, find a way to activate whatever this device is meant to do. Kale and I will hold off the creature." Kale and Eddie positioned themselves at the entrance, weapons ready. The massive beast crashed through the doorway, its eyes glowing with primal fury. They fired, aiming for its eyes and joints, trying to slow it down. Meanwhile, Nora and Liam worked frantically at the pedestal. The symbols shifted faster, and the hum grew louder. "We need to figure this out now," Liam shouted, his voice strained. Nora's fingers flew over the alien controls, deciphering the patterns. "I think I've got it," she exclaimed, pressing a sequence of symbols. The pedestal emitted a blinding light, and the walls of the chamber began to shift, forming an energy barrier that repelled the predator. The beast roared in frustration, unable to breach the barrier. It retreated, leaving the team momentarily safe. Eddie and Kale rejoined Nora and Liam, breathing heavily. "That was too close," Eddie said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. Nora nodded, still catching her breath. But we did it. We activated the device and it worked. We need to study this place more, understand its capabilities. This could be the key to not only our survival but thriving here. Kale looked around the chamber, his eyes filled with a sense of reverence and determination. Together, we have unlocked a part of our history. With this knowledge, we can build a future where both our species thrive. Eddie placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. We have a long way to go, but this is a good start. Let's head back and plan our next move. There's still much to learn, and even more to accomplish. Eddie and his team returned to their camp, their minds buzzing with the discoveries from the ancient ruins. The activation of the alien device had not only provided a temporary defense but also hinted at a deeper connection between the humans and the Zari. This newfound knowledge invigorated the crew, who now saw a glimmer of possibility amid the daily struggles for survival. Back at camp, Eddie gathered his team and Kale to discuss their next move. We need to study the data from the device and understand its full potential, Eddie began. This could be the breakthrough we need, but we must proceed carefully. Liam nodded, his usual pragmatism shining through. I'll work on deciphering the alien tech. If we can figure out how to harness its power, it might give us a significant advantage. Dr. Nora Sinclair added, I'll continue my research on the local flora and fauna. Understanding the ecosystem better will help us integrate more effectively with the environment. Sophia Reyes, ever the protector, spoke up. I'll focus on ensuring everyone stays healthy. The more we push into unknown territory, the more risks we take. With their roles clearly defined, the team set to work. Eddie, meanwhile, took Scout out for reconnaissance missions, using the bird-like creature's keen senses to map out the surrounding area and identify potential threats or resources. Each day brought new challenges, but also new insights. One afternoon, while exploring a dense forest, Scout alerted Eddie to a hidden Zari settlement. The structures were rudimentary but showed signs of an advanced understanding of the land. Eddie approached cautiously, signaling Scout to stay close. As he neared, he was greeted by a group of Zari elders, their expressions a mix of curiosity and caution. Kale, who had been accompanying Eddie, stepped forward to introduce him. These are the humans I spoke of. They seek knowledge and peace. The eldest of the Zari, an ancient being named Valus, stepped forward. We have watched you, Eddie Hart. Your actions speak of wisdom and bravery. What is it you seek in our lands? Eddie bowed slightly, showing respect. We seek to understand and survive. We believe our two peoples can learn much from each other. Valus studied him for a moment before nodding. You have proven your worth. We will share our knowledge, but be warned. There are forces here that even we do not fully comprehend. Eddie thanked the elders, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. The humans and Zari began to collaborate more closely, exchanging knowledge and resources. This partnership led to significant advancements in their understanding of the planet. The humans learned to cultivate local crops, use natural medicines, and navigate the treacherous terrain with the Zari's guidance. However, the looming threat of the ancient predator remained. The creature's presence cast a shadow over their progress, and its attacks grew bolder. Eddie knew that to secure their future, they needed to confront this menace head-on. Gathering his team and the Zari warriors, Eddie formulated a plan. We will use the knowledge we've gained from the device and the ruins. This predator is formidable, but it's not invincible. We'll lure it into a trap and use our combined strengths to defeat it. The preparation was meticulous. They crafted traps, fortified defenses, and coordinated their efforts. The day of the confrontation arrived, filled with an air of anticipation. As the sun set, the ground began to tremble, signaling the approach of the beast. Eddie stood at the forefront, flanked by Kale and the Zari warriors. Liam and Nora were positioned with the traps, while Sophia tended to the injured and ready for any emergency. The creature emerged from the shadows, its massive form a testament to its power. With a coordinated effort, they launched their attack. The battle was intense, every second filled with danger. Eddie's strategic mind and Kale's intimate knowledge of the land played crucial roles. The traps were sprung, and the combined forces of humans and Zari pressed their advantage. The predator roared in fury, but the coordinated assault overwhelmed it. As the creature fell, a collective sigh of relief swept through the group. They had faced the greatest threat and emerged victorious. Eddie looked around at his team and their Zari allies, pride swelling in his chest. We did it. Together. Valus approached, his eyes filled with respect. You have proven that cooperation is the path to survival. Let us continue to build this future together. Eddie nodded, knowing that their journey was far from over but confident in their ability to face whatever lay ahead. The alliance between humans and Zari had forged a new beginning, one where they could thrive on this wild and dangerous planet.